Hello and welcome to this live session. So today what I wanted to do was coming live since it's a holiday in Australia here, and I'm going to cover some of my shortlisted stocks and see how things are going in for India market. And if you don't know me, my name is Shivendra Bhatia, and my I've been already doing the peaceful weekend investing for a long time now. I thought it'll be a good idea to come live and share and take some questions from you, as well as share some of the shortlisted stocks for India market and see what's happening live. Generally, I don't do live, but I'm here just the market is on, and because India market is Australia's holiday today, so I thought it'll be good to connect with you all. So if you are joining me on YouTube Live or Facebook Live, do put a thumbs up or put in comment box below. So at least I know that you're able to hear me well, and I can see the live questions, and I will be taking some live questions. And if you have any specific stock to talk about, I'm happy to cover that as well. So before we proceed further, I think it is important to clear the disclaimer here. I'm just giving a journal advice warning. This only for education purposes, not for any kind of decision making. So please keep that in mind. So let's get started on this one. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, which is Peaceful Weekend Investing, you do consider doing that now. I think that'll be helpful because then you will be able to get notified whenever I'm coming live and doing some more analysis, because we keep coming up with the great content in this channel to make your journey peaceful for the stock market. And what I'm sharing with you is I have done the short list of the stocks for the weekend, and I haven't made any buy and sell decision personally, but I'll go through one by one. Before I go, the first segment I want to cover is let's go to the index review. What's happening? Okay, so here is my stock chart. So let's go on the weekly basis, and I will first go through um, some of the indexes, and then we'll go through some of the details of it. Let's start with it. So first thing first, let's start with the bank nifty analysis. You know that we cover this up in regularly in our channel here, and if you look at it here, what are we seeing? Okay, on a weekly basis, the trend is still down kind of thing. I think it is not making higher highs. So if you look at it, let's take the pen here. So this was the high and this was the high, right? And then you have kind of bottom made here. So we're still trying to figure out what will happen. So let's look at, there's no specific clear trend, but if you look at it on daily basis, I think where it's important to understand, it's still making lower low, right? It is in this channel, and that is where one you need to look at it and see whether it it makes sense to first take positions in the bank and be positive about it, right? So for me, this will be still the case of um, if you look at it very clearly, let's take the line, so much easier. So if we draw the line here and connect it here, I think that's where we have another, and we have, it's kind of in the channel at the moment. I have the magnet tool on, so obviously it's playing its own trick. So if you look at it, it's clearly showing in the channel, and it's trying to. If you look at the top of the channel, if I zoom in, right, it's trying to take it, but there was some rejection on this channel, right? And you can connect it whichever. People say that it has to be in this particular order, but I have my own method of connecting it. But just to give you perspective here, you have to check that this is in lower low formation. So that's bank nifty. Let's look at nifty. What's happening? There has been some decent rally which has come in, and these were the lines which were drawn earlier. So I think we have, from the last video, this is what was it. And I think we are looking at this level first closely. If it closes above, then it'll be really positive, and that's where on the daily basis we'll see the positive trend coming up. um, if you are able to hear me, I would highly recommend just say hi. I will appreciate that, so that at least I know the voice is going through and you're able to hear me well. Yeah. Okay. So let's go get going. I'm assuming you're able to hear me well, so that's great. So that's in Bank Nifty. And now let's move on to the small cap index. So yeah, so there has been some good rally in the small cap. Again, the story is the same. It is. I would still be very positive if it closes somewhere here above that. So that'll be my key level. If I have to draw the line, Alt H, yeah. And if you use a shortcut because it becomes very handy, Alt J is something which you can use it just to draw the line to an extent. So for me, this is a zone which I will look for very closely. And if you want to look at it, what other is a support zone, and we can. So this area is a kind of an area of resistance, and after that you should see some good rally because it'll be on daily chart, it'll be higher high. But from our perspective, what I look at it is more mainly from the higher high from the weekly perspective, right? So that's the story on the small cap. Let's move on. And so this will be a bit of a lengthy sense. Hi, Samir. Thanks for joining in. If you're able to hear me well, just type in yes. And what we are doing here is we're looking at some of the analysis for um, India market and some of the shortlisted stocks and see what is going to happen. And again, clear disclaimer on the description box below. All right, great. Are you able to hear me well? And you can ask any question if you have for any specific stocks. I will try to do my best to answer that. Um, so this is mid cap. Again, mid cap is holding well on the monthly chart. Let's look at a weekly chart. I will turn the auto on just to get a view. Again, it has a clear resistance here, as you can see. So, and then it has been holding some grounds here. So you have to look at it. If it needs to go out of this channel to be able to see positive here till the time the levels are in front of you. Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Samir. Really appreciate you joining live. So now PSU again, I don't see any trend much. Let's look at daily basis. What's going on here? Again, it's making clear lower lows. You can see that. So I think there is no point. There might be some rallies, but I look at the headline index just to get a perspective of what's happening on index level. So it has been, in fact, it has broken this as well. So I would look at it. Generally, I put this flags just to see what's happening. Last time I did it, so I'll unflag that just to see which indexes are doing well. Look at this one. This is a reality. So I think some of the stocks came in my filter automatically on the reality, and you can see here it's like kind of an double bottom, and it's trying to make a huge good rally. So if you go through some of the stocks, you would find some stocks which are definitely doing well. Again, I personally have been to India and I've seen a lot of traction in the reality sector. And I think I'm personally holding some of the stocks, some of the properties in India, and it's absolute bazaar there. People are just buying like hotcakes, and the project launches, new project launches are happening. I think say there's no inventory, and I think whoever in India to type in what your thoughts are, but that's what I've experienced it, and the projects are going like a hotcake at the moment, especially in Bangalore. I don't know about other market. If you know anything about it, do mention in the chat below so I get some insight about that. But again, I'm closely tracking the reality index. It has gone up decently from last couple of sessions, which is almost 12% up, 13% up. So let's see whether it can break out this line, and then we can look for some positive trades in this market. Again, I'm doing this analysis. Please do your own research as well. So clear disclaimer all the time. I can't repeat that, but it'll be great as well to understand. So metal, nothing much there. IPO, that's okay. Leave it there because I don't invest in IPO. Private banks, what is their BSC index? Yeah, it's the same. I think NFT private banks. Nothing major there. Mid caps, we have covered that. CNX Auto. Yeah, there has been some rally, and I think there are a couple of stocks which has come in my radar for auto. Obviously, you can see that because there is a rally in the auto index as well. So underline there'll be some positivity. Yep. Samir, definitely I'll make a note of it and we'll cover that. Jubilant Foodworks, IX, and DMart, that are three of the stocks which I'll make a note of it and then we can cover that when we go through stocks. IX and DMart. Cool, cool. So let's get started and move on to commodities. I think there has been a bit of rallies on commodities as well, and but again, there's a clear resistance at this level, which is on the. I'm looking at daily chart just to get a perspective here, and then, but mainly idea is to look at weekly chart for long term and medium to long term trades, right? So that's the kind of an analysis on the index. I think there are some stocks which has come in from the power index, and that's why I kind of wanted to mark this as in different color because I have seen some stocks coming in my filter specifically and setting up nicely in the power. And when you look at it from the long term perspective and look at it what's going on here, you get a clear perspective. And this is a monthly chart. And keep in mind that I have turned the log chart on, right? So that way you understand that. Let me check. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get notified with other live sessions when I keep coming up with. Thank you so much for that. And so so what's going on here? Look at this. Power index is absolutely has been. If you look at a monthly chart and log chart, you'll know that this was a tops and there was a clear rejection, and it's back coming up. So we have to look at it from that perspective to find some trades, right? Because the stock, the most of the stocks, if you go and do the research, would have also gone below 38%, 40% and below. So, and we'll see them today and then see whether there's some bit of buying coming in. We'll see what is this rally all about. But from long term perspective, you cannot hold these kind of stocks for your portfolio unless there's some fundamental change happening, right? Sure. We'll cover that up. And same way, infra, it's holding. It's after this breakout. I think in infra there has been. If you pick up the stocks, you will seen some good rally, whatever happened, right? So, doing the index analysis gives you good perspective because after all, index is nothing like a father, and the stocks are like a child, right? So, you might have a one-off odds where you're looking at some stocks going against a trend, but that's for some other time. But it's important to get some good view what's the trend on the index level and then go through some of the MNC, like it's all holding up strong. So all the time it's a good opportunity. There was some sideways correction, but after that it has been all the way up. So looking at this perspective, I'm just want to share this view because this will be very, very helpful. Always make this index. um, and try and, if you haven't watched my trading view series, do watch it because then I cover all that. Even for the free version you can create multiple watch lists. I have a video for that and you can cover that up, so that you can go through all the indexes very easily on your mobile or on the, I prefer using laptop, not as a mobile. Okay, so before I move to the stocks, let's take some questions from the audience here. So Samir, who has joined in, asking to do the analysis for IEX, DMART, and Jubilant Food on monthly and weekly chart basis. So let's start with IEX. And clear disclaimer: IEX is in my portfolio as well, and and I just want to clear that up, right? So let's look at it again. IEX has been in downward trend for some time. All right, if you look at it, the stock went all the way from 317 to 129, so given up. So After all, if you had to exit, you should exit way earlier. But now, if somebody is holding in, exiting probably given up all the gains. But my buy price has been lower, so I'm still sitting on some decent gain. But I want to use this opportunity to see whether there's an opportunity to buy. But last week there has been a huge rally of 17%, and that's because of the overhang the stock was having, because there was some court ruling of some 2 paisa, 3 paisa. Because what IEX is nothing but a platform to do the energy trading, and this is mainly for short term power, right? And they were having some, they charge around 2 paisa or some small number for every transaction. And because of the COVID, their demands are low, and this particular 2 paisa, whatever the amount they were charging in paisa per unit, was also on the court ruling, which came out in their favor. And hence, there was a huge rally came in last week. But that doesn't mean that fundamentals has changed, because there is some competition coming in for this. But I think there's a long way to go as India market get matured. Having worked in Nasdaq, I have worked closely on this particular exchanges, and I think there is really. But again, for everything, we have to have some kind of an stop losses, because you can't hold it forever. You need to make sure. And I think I would be very keenly watching this level to break on a monthly basis, closing basis, to before I can think of taking a decision to get out. Right? There was a huge rally, and you can see the VIX itself was telling there was an indecisiveness on the monthly chart, and since then it is one way down, and now it's stabilizing. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 months it has been in this range, right? So that means market participants thinks this is the range. It'll stay till the new outcome comes in terms of whether there's a demand in the power, which if India doesn't go on recession, so it's all linked to the economy as well, right? So because of the COVID, the demand of the power also went down. So this is something you have to look at it as well. So this is my view on this. Clean watching these levels, and I would, this is for me, should be part of the long term, provided that it holds these levels. Again, this is just my view here. Hope you got it. But it's worthwhile doing some study on this company, and probably it, I can cover this up in one of the videos as well, just to get some perspective here. But again, you can see here clearly, IEX has been 1 year has been 37% down, which is like, if somebody who's already part of the peaceful weekend investing would understand, 20, 30, 40% any stock can go down. You just have to keep monitoring those. If you don't understand the fundamental analysis and not able to link that up with technical, then probably you might get out of it. But again, you have to hold on to your winners for long term as much as possible, and try and benefit from that. Okay, so that's IEX for you. Let's look at the other stock, the DMart. Um, Now, what's going on with DMart? DMart chart on a monthly basis. Again, this is the line which I have drawn here long time. I keep looking at the stock, but again, the stock, I don't track it um very closely, but obviously DMart has been a bigger mega wealth creator, right? Ever since it has been from here, it's just gone non-stop, almost 10x, right? And in between it had little bit of base here, and you can see this is a base which was formed, and once it base broken, so you can follow this base pattern and see what's going on, right? Let me remove this magnet, otherwise it just gives a bit of a trouble. So there's another base, and then now it went all the way up. I think if somebody had to exit, has to exit at 3900, but now it's 3186, which is kind of base which has formed. um, and now it is sitting. Let's look at a weekly chart and see whether we can get some here. To me, I think, uh, let's do a Fibonacci analysis here, if that's It looks to be overextended on this one, so we can take this as a base rally, and it's almost touched this, right? You can see 0.382 was kind of resistance here, right? This is one of the key levels for Fibonacci, 0.382, and it never able to cross that zone, and it went down. It went all